Once upon a time in a forest, there was a cute, adorable little color-changing chameleon. He loved living in the forest. He loved climbing up the tall trees, and he loved catching bugs to eat. But most of all, he loved basking on the warm rocks during the day. One day, while he was basking on his favorite rock, he saw a little girl come into the forest, and she was sitting on one of his rocks. The little girl was so adorable. She had long flowy hair as she skipped through the forest. The chameleon wanted to say hi, but he was a little shy, so he just sat there watching her as she walked past his tree. The chameleon noticed her looks were changing just as he could change his colors. This little girl was special and was just like him. She climbed up to where he was and said hello. The chameleon said, "Hi, name is Charlie. Welcome to my forest." "My name is Charlene. I'm going to plant some flowers here in the forest," she said. "Can I help?" asked Charlie the colorful chameleon. "Sure," said the girl. So the little girl and the colorful chameleon spent the afternoon planting flowers together. When the girl was finished, she took a little break to admire her flowers. Charlie the chameleon thought this would be a perfect time to tell her that he lived in this tree. Excuse me," said Charlie the chameleon. "I just want to let you know that the forest is my home, but we can share the space." "Oh, I'm sorry," said the girl. "I didn't know, but I am grateful you are sharing the forest with me." She had been so busy planting flowers, she hadn't noticed Charlie or any of the other animals in the forest. Charlie wasn't really mad at the girl, but he was a little annoyed that she had been so close to his home and he hadn't even noticed her. "It's okay," the chameleon said, "but now I have an idea." He took the girl's hand and led her to a nearby pond. "Do you see that waterfall over there? Behind it is a secret path. If you follow the path, it will lead you to a clearing, and in the clearing is the most beautiful butterfly garden you have ever seen." The girl's eyes lit up. "Oh wow, it is so beautiful. Look at the beautiful waterfall and the beautiful butterflies." And with that, the two friends were off, skipping down the path toward the butterfly garden. When they reached the garden, her eyes were filled with excitement as she saw how beautiful the scenery was of the garden, waterfall, and butterflies flying all around. It was even more beautiful than Charlie the chameleon had described. "Thank you," said the girl. "This is the best day ever." She hugged Charlie the chameleon. "I'm so glad I got to take you to your own terrarium home," she said. And that's when they both heard a voice. "What did you say?" asked Charlie. "I said, I'm so glad I got to take you to your own terrarium home," replied the girl. "But you're not a chameleon," said Charlie. "How could you possibly know where I live?" "Oh wait, that's right, I told you that." The chameleon was shocked that the little girl knew exactly how he felt and was very happy she had taken him home with her. He was thinking back to where he was living at. He thought this could be nice after all. He remembers a little boy had taken him, and he was not happy at all. Just then she could hear her mom calling for her. She told the chameleon she had to go, but would be back to visit him, and off she went to tell her mom all about Charlie the chameleon and hoped her mom would say he could stay. Story number 2. Once upon a time there was a cute, adorable little chameleon who lived in the forest. He loved to spend his days lounging around on the forest floor and in the trees, just soaking up the sun. But he didn't like to do this alone. He liked to do this with all of his little chameleon friends. The chameleons would all lay out in the sun and chat about everything and nothing. It was the best. But one day the little chameleon wasn't feeling so great. He had a terrible stomachache, and he was pretty sure it was because he ate a bad bug. So the chameleon decided to stay home that day and just rest on his tree limb. He thought maybe if he laid in his favorite spot in the sun, it would help him feel better. And it was working, too. The chameleon was starting to feel a little bit better when suddenly, he felt something really weird. He didn't want to move at first, but then he realized with a jolt, he wasn't alone. There was a cute, adorable little furry monster sitting right next to the chameleon. And as the chameleon watched, totally freaked out, the monster started to eat his dinner. The little chameleon was so disgusted. The cute, adorable baby monster was in his personal space, eating his food. Who was this monster? The little chameleon was so upset. He tried to tell the creature to go away, but the creature just kept on eating. It was so rude. He was telling his other monster friend Egbert. The little chameleon couldn't take it anymore. He needed to get away from this monster, so the chameleon did the only thing he could think of. He started to climb up the tree. The little chameleon climbed and climbed until he was at the very top of the tree, all the way from the little baby monster's view. It looked like the creature was a giant monster to the chameleon, and the forest looked like a jungle. Then he fell on top of its head. Just as he thought he couldn't climb anymore on top of the monster's head, he saw something. It was his friend Freddy the Frog. He then crawled to a branch and he saw a little girl was walking through the forest, and she was looking up at the chameleon. They made eye contact. The little chameleon waved his little chameleon arms and cried out, "Help me, little girl, please." The little girl gasped when she saw him. She had never seen a chameleon before. She slowly reached out her hand and said, "Don't worry, little chameleon, I'm gonna help you." She gently put out her arms so the chameleon could climb on her arm so she could take him home with her. The little chameleon was so glad to be away from the cute, adorable baby monster. When the little girl reached into her pocket to get the chameleon, she noticed that he was even cuter up close. His skin was a little rough and dry, and his eyes were so sparkly. The little girl smiled and said, "You're such a cute, adorable little chameleon. I can't wait to show you around my room and my mom and dad too." She took the chameleon and showed him his own personal terrarium home, and every day she would come and chat with him and feed him and make sure he was okay. The little chameleon was so happy. He finally had his own space again, and he had tons of spaces to choose from to be in. She kept him in a bowl so she could clean out his terrarium, and he would watch her happily. He had plants to climb and bugs to eat and a nice cozy branch to sleep on. And most of all, he had a little girl who cared for him and loved him, and she was really, really cute, just like him. If you and your little ones enjoyed this story, please subscribe to my nighttime stories. Have a wonderful, blessed, peaceful night. Oh, forgot to mention, have your mom get a spray bottle, fill it up with water, and spray where you don't want the monsters to be in your bedroom. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Have a wonderful, blessed night.